Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky, and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I'd like to do today is give you all some tips and tricks on how to write a dog park business plan. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and run through this little PowerPoint presentation I've concocted for your viewing pleasure. And first and foremost, a little bit of experience background about me, and then we're going to talk about your needs and your dog park business plan tips and tricks. First, I am a professional writer, specifically a business plan writer. I love writing business plans. I love writing books about business plans. So if y'all want to avoid the trials and tribulations, the fun and excitement of writing your own business plan, pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text. I'd love to take the burden off your shoulders, put it onto mine. I've got some pretty broad shoulders. Also, I am a author for business plan writing books and templates. So if y'all do want a template to start off, at least have a foundation for your dog park business plan, send me a text or send me an email again, and I'd be delighted to write up a template for you if I don't have one already. And finally, I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert for both business and finance. So I've got some solid educational backgrounds behind me, as well as 10 years of experience for writing business plans. So a little bit of experience in this topic. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about your dog park business plan. Tip number one, in your company description, everybody loves a tail, pun intended. When you're when you're starting off your company description of a business plan, try to go ahead and include some kind of a introductory statement, a message to the reader, explaining to them either your background and your love for pets and your love for your dogs, or describe to them the challenges that you've had with, continually trying to, walk your dog in all kinds of, adverse weather, and, you go to the outdoor dog parks, but they're only good for a quarter of the time, thus the need for a covered dog park. So just, talk about some of your thoughts and ideas as to why you want to go ahead and start this business, or touch on some of the problems that you've had as a dog owner for, walking your pet or giving them enough exercise, or having them being, socially active and so on. So, touch on one of those. Also, touch on some competitive advantages. We do have some outdoor dog parks. You've got your apartment complex doing it, and you've got your cities going ahead and funding, dog parks, but they are outside in adverse weather. And what a lot of these dog parks don't have is things for people. So you go to the dog park and you sit there and you watch your puppy run around, and yes, you're able to socialize, but the socialization can only go so far because there's really nothing else to do. A lot of dog parks, what they're doing right now is they're offering stuff for people as well. So, you might want to sell coffee or, alcoholic beverages. You might want to have a dog, you might want to have a gift shop where people can buy a boutique dog food, or, so on. So, so identify some of your competitive advantages in your company description as well, and also some of the complementary services that you may be offering. Tip number two is going to be do some industry research. The dog park industry, that is not a huge industry as you can probably imagine. From that, there's going to be very little information out there that's going to help you show that you're an industry expert. And, from the foundation of being an industry expert, then you can go ahead and analyze competitors. But until you have that industry expert status, by reviewing the industry as a whole, you're not going to be able to take the next step. From that, what I recommend when you do your industry research, start with a national overview and identify some trends that's going on in the dog park industry. Or if you can't find that information, just in the pet service industry as a whole. Sometimes if you can't get the information for a sub-industry, go for the broader industry. So the sub-industry would be the dog park, the broader industry would be pet services. And, so some examples of the broader industry for pet services would be that pet ownership in the U.S. in some cities is over 50%. That means 1 in every 2 households in a specific city has a pet, whether it be a fish, a cat, a dog, or a lizard, or what have you. For the most part, dog and cat ownerships are the most prevalent that you're going to find. Also, what I've found just doing some basic industry research is that pet services, their revenues have doubled year over year over the last several years. That tells us that the pet service industry is growing. They're in their business stage. They are in the growing business stage. It goes from introductory to growing to mature and then decline. This industry for the pet services, it is in its growing phase. That means that more and more people are going to be using their services. It also means more and more entrepreneurs are going to be entering the industry. Based on this information, and when you do your research for the dog park industry, and you show and you convey that you do know what's going on at a national level, you can then start to do a competitor analysis. And when you're doing your competitor analysis, the biggest thing that I really strongly recommend, and I do, as a business plan writer, is I will tie what your competitors are not doing to the industry findings. For example, if dog parks are serving more and more alcohol and coffee, then identify some of the dog parks in your area and show that they are not serving alcohol or coffee or other complementary services based on national trends. And this is going to show not only that you are an expert in the industry, but you are able to effectively analyze your competitors based on your industry standing. All right, tip number 3, advertising. Every dog park is going to do the social media advertising. They're all going to do the website advertising, and you're also going to get your word of mouth advertising. What I find when working with dog park entrepreneurs is the best way to advertise is to talk about your amenities. Talk about why your business is there for the dogs. Don't worry about the people. The people are going to come because they want to make the dogs happy. Focus on the dogs. What kind of exercise equipment do you have for the dogs? Do you have a pool for the dogs? Do you have different play areas so the big dogs can play with the big dogs and the small dogs can play with the small dogs? And do you have a timeout area where the bad dogs are going to be put in timeout until they can learn to play nice? So talk about your amenities on your website, and when you're doing your social media, stress the amenities and show, we have these amenities, and drill down on one after another on your social media postings, and then refer all the information back to the website for a full, broad understanding of your amenities. So that's one of the strategies that I would recommend when writing up your business plan. Don't just talk about the social media and the website and how you're going to do the word of mouth advertising, but also show how they're going to be intertwined and how you're going to exploit one avenue for the betterment of your advertising strategy as a whole. Tip number 4 is going to be a funding request. Every business that has ever been started, that will ever be started, and it has needed funding, whether the money comes from you or somebody else, from a bank, it doesn't matter. When you need this money, people are going to want to know where the money is going to go and how they're going to get paid for investing. So when you're doing your funding request, you do need to have a specific strategy and structure to implement in order to best convey what you need and to also tell the reader or the investor how you are going to repay the funding provided. So first and foremost, when you do your funding request, the first line, the first sentence should have a specific dollar amount of money that you need. Do not put a range there. If you put a range there, you look wishy-washy, and it shows that you really haven't done all of the research that you need. Be very specific in that particular instance. For example, in order to start my dog park, I need $150,000. Once you convey the dollar amount that you need, then what you're going to do is you're going to show where this money is going to go. That's when you start getting a little bit more broad, and you need to give yourself some wiggle room. The best way to do that is to set categories. I need $50,000 to do the build out and the build to buy the dog equipment. I need $25,000 for supplies. I need $20,000 excuse me, for inventory. I need $5,000 for hiring and training. Break down where this money is going to go into different categories and be a little bit broad in these categories. After you've listed all your categories, total up the dollar amount needed, and that dollar amount needed should be identical to the top line dollar amount that you stated. So when you implement the structure, you're starting off specific and you're showing that you know exactly how much you need, But as you go through that strategy, you're giving yourself wiggle room to move the money around and to spend that money however you see fit within those categories. So the structure is specific, and it shows determination, and it shows knowledge. But then the structure gives you flexibility. Next is going to be financial projections. Just because you got the money and you've got a passion and a drive, and there's a need for dog parks in your area, it doesn't mean that you're going to make money. So you need some kind of a basic financial projection to determine whether your price points are optimal, whether the concept's even going to be able to make you some money, and to determine if your fixed costs are going to be too high or too low. So what I recommend when you do your business plan is to include or do a basic financial projection. The way the structure works right here is that I've identified some of the main revenue drivers for the organization. Park admission might be $5, food and drink sales might be $15, and then you've got your miscellaneous. If you have a gift shop, your average price may be $12. Next, you have to identify the variable cost. Every time that somebody enters your park, how much is it going to cost you? For this instance right here, it might be 20 cents. That people might be using up a little bit of electric, a little bit of water, but there's really not a huge variable cost to a park admission, so I'll put a relatively low dollar amount. Food and drink, this is how much it costs you to actually buy the food and drink, and then you prepare it and sell it, which is $6. The next part is going to be your gross profits. Your gross profits is simply taking your price, which is $5, subtracting your variable cost, which is 20 cents, and that gives you your gross profit of $4.80. Next thing what you're going to do is you're going to take your gross profit and multiply it by the number of items or the number of park admissions or food and drink sales or miscellaneous sales that you're going to have. In this example right here, I'm multiplying my gross profits $4.80 by $75, which gives me a total gross profit for the day at $360. I would then follow that same process with all of the other revenue drivers that I have. And once you do that, an interesting things that you're going to find is where you anticipate making the most money. And once you identify what you're anticipating making the most money for, you can then create strategies to best exploit what you just found. Next, you're going to go ahead and total up your gross profits to the total gross profit right here. And then you're going to multiply that by 30. However many days you're going to be open, multiply it by 30, and that's going to give you your gross monthly profits. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to identify your monthly fixed cost. You may have a loan of $950. Inventory purchases might be $7,000. Labor, you do have to pay. You do have to pay humans in order to work there. $9,500. Space rental $6,500, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the miscellaneous. Make sure to have a miscellaneous section in here. You do need a catch-all. You don't know if you're going to have what your maintenance is going to be, or if some surprise comes up that you're going to have to cover. So maintenance is a critical factor. Make sure you have that included. Miscellaneous is a critical component, in my most humble of opinions, to include in your fixed cost. Once you're done with that, total up all your fixed costs and put them down here in the total. In this example is $31,700. Next, we need to go ahead and calculate our monthly profits. How much money are we going to make on a monthly basis on average? To do this, we're going to take our gross monthly profits, which is right here, pull it on down here. Then we're going to take our monthly expenses right here. We're going to pull it right here. And we're simply going to subtract from our profits our cost. That's going to give us our net profits, $7,900. Now, the beautiful thing about having this nice little structure here is you can now change your price point from $5 to $6, and you can see how it's going to impact your profits. Same thing for the average price of food and drink and miscellaneous. You can change your monthly cost. You can change your variable cost. All these items right here, you can go ahead and change them, and then you can see which product mix and which structure for your fixed cost is going to give you the optimal revenues for your prospective business. And in summary, Always follow a proven format when you're doing your business plan. If you're going to start with a blank piece of paper, that blank piece of paper is going to be blank for quite some time until some revelation happens and you're able to put some information there. And then once you put that information there, you might not like the structure, and then you're going to try a million structures in order to figure out what structure works best for you. And once you finally figure out which structure works best for you, you then need to go out and get the information to put in that structure. Avoid some of that hassle by following a proven format. Go to the SBA website. They've got some really good templates there that you're able to download, or you're able to just use as a foundation. The only problem with the SBA website that I have found is that it's good for manufacturing and restaurants and retail stores and dog parks and dog daycares. It's a general template that's not customized for the dog park industry or dog park business. From that, you're going to have sections that are relevant to a restaurant or a manufacturer that's not relevant to a dog park, and you don't know which of these sections are relevant and which of these sections are not. And then you've got a whole other process you need to go through just to be able to figure that out before you can start writing. Better strategy is to go ahead and find a dog park business plan template that's already created. I am in the process of doing that. If you do want a dog daycare template and it's not on my website, go ahead and send me a message. I'll go ahead and move it up to the top and get one written up for you. Next is going to be keep the star of the show as the business. Some dog park business owners or entrepreneurs, they love to talk about them, or they love to talk about their dog Fido, or what have you. And the star of the show now becomes the entrepreneur or the entrepreneur's pet, and the focus is everywhere but on the business. Make sure the star of the show is the business, the business, the business, the business. Tell why it's needed, tell how it's going to generate revenues, tell it's going to service, the pets, and, talk about the equipment, talk about the business, the business, the business. Don't talk about you, don't talk about your pet. Keep the focus on the business. And finally, contact me for help. If you got questions, comments, concerns, need a little bit of help structuring your business plan, writing your business plan, you need a template, you need financial projections, you just want somebody to talk to, just pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text message. I'd be delighted to help in any way, shape, and form. And finally, if you're looking for a little bit more information with writing up your own business plan, zip on over to qualitybusinessplan.com/how to write a dog park business plan. And on this webpage, I do have more in-depth details in writing various sections of a dog park business plan that is relevant for your organization. So that's the website right here. It's how to write a dog park business plan. And finally, if you need a business plan template, zip over to my business plan templates webpage, qualitybusinessplan.com/business plan templates. And scroll down, look for a dog park business plan template. If it's not there, send me a message and just let me know that you're interested in the dog park business plan. I am in the process of writing the template, but if you are looking for it and it's not up there, send me the message. I'll go ahead and put it to the top of the list and have one written up for you. And my templates do include basic financial projections. Hoot, hoot, hurrah, hurrah. And finally, if you want some books on writing business plans, zip over to my Amazon page, which is www.amazon.com/author/Paul Borosky, and you'll have a plethora of books available on writing business plans. Hopefully this information was helpful, and if you like the video, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and if you need some services, pick up the phone, send me a message, give me a call. Be absolutely delighted to meet you and discuss your individual dog park business plan needs. Thank you. Have a good one.